Robbie Lawler was out of control.
This is Double Cross, the murder of Robbie Lawler.
It was going to be an all-out war with him in the middle of it.
A Crime World special investigation podcast based on my new book, Web of Betrayal, wherever you get your podcasts.
The people around there are looking for another Tony Gregory. He was a TD and he was a representative. We have TDs at the moment, but we have no representatives. If I get into Leinster House, I won't be taking bullshit. I'll rock the house. That's the first knife job into the back from a politician, and I'm not even in there yet. I'm getting in with the sharks and the crocodiles now.
You are.
Crocodile Dundee is coming into town.
Do you think you can win?
Of course, I think I can win, yeah, definitely.
In the final part of our interview with election candidate and veteran criminal Gerry the Monk Hutch, we discuss his political ambitions, how he wants to follow in the footsteps of legendary TD Tony Gregory, and how he wants to shake up business as usual in Leinster House. This is Crime World. Listen and follow wherever you get your podcasts, and you can now watch all 3 parts on our YouTube channel.
Well, I've always had a bit of politician in me there, you know, through over the years, mediating and with people, helping people and doing stuff like that. Being a politician for the last 40 years, really, you know.
In that community?
Yeah, in the community, and not unofficial.
Yeah.
Unofficial politician.
And why do you think people need that unofficial politician, like, if you know what I mean, in that community, like?
Well, I mean, in that community today, in the last few years, we have 4 politicians, but we've no representatives. They're politicians, but they're doing shag all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I'd look at it, you know, and that's the way the people there look at it as well.
And how, Gerry, can I ask, like, how have you been an unofficial politician? Like, what kind of things have you been mediating?
Everything from, I mean, there could be 2 people having a row and, you know, one family against another, and they'd ask me, would I be able to talk to him or this, because they'd be afraid to get the police. If they got the police, to be called a grass or a squealer, and you'd know some of them on both sides, and you'd try to get in the middle and come to some arrangement, and they'd, you know, bury the hatchet, as they call it, and just get on with it. You don't have to talk to each other again and stuff like that. I've just done loads of that over the years with people, you know.
Yeah, and like you were saying, obviously, with you tried to do it with Daniel and your nephew.
Yeah, well,
I
actually did, but he just reneged on the deal, you know. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that does happen, you know. You could have sorted the problem out with someone, and you could meet in the pub and have a row that night, and they're back to square one, you know. But a lot of them over the years wouldn't want to get the police involved. And the police as well have often asked me to go and sort, will you speak to them people and try to get them on the straight and narrow.
The guards themselves have asked you over the years, yeah?
Yeah.
Like what kind of stuff?
I mean, if there was 2 neighbours fighting each other, and the guards they're limited to what they can do, get court injunctions and do stuff like this, but a bit of common sense prevails over everything. And if you know people and you know them in both sides, and they're happy enough with you, you know, sorting it out for them. When I say sorting it out, they're looking for it to be sorted, and someone gets in the middle and they're happy, you know.
Yeah, so you would have had political aspirations then, do you think, for a long time? Like,
yeah.
Yeah. And would you have a political kind of hero, I suppose?
Yeah, Tony Gregory would have been the top man around that area for a long time. And the people around there are looking for another Tony Gregory. And you think they're getting at me, I wouldn't have his shoes. I'd never be able to walk in that man's shoes in 1,000 years. He done multiple things for that. He was a TD and he was a representative. We have TDs at the moment, but we have no representatives. That's what I'm hearing on the street of the people. And they've asked me, would I go? And I said, I'm retired, semi-retired. I'm an old man. And they kept asking me, and then we were down when Kerry Harrington was coming into town, all the TDs were down. All the councillors, all the King's horses and all the King's men. Having a great time. And loads of them were saying, This is a fucking disgrace. You should be up there on that stage with her, Jared, and this and that. And one thing led to another, and they pushing, and I said I'd consider it. And then got out, I was considering it. And I was serious considering it. And I got into the media. And then I'm in Lanzarote, I got raided because I believe it's because I'm considering this. It's no coincidence. There was an investigation going on, but I believe it was pressed fast forward. Nick put into custody. I get out, and I'm back. And I mean, someone asked me there the other day, like, why are you doing this? And I says, because the people, I said, I have 3 reasons, I said, the people in the area have asked me, they're pushing me to do it. I said, I've been doing it unofficially for years. I says, and the guards who don't like me, not all the guards, but some of them, and they've nicked me because I'm doing this and tried to put me in custody. The Irish police, working with the Spanish have no interest in me at all. It's the Irish police pushing. So that was 2 reasons. And the third reason is because Article 16 of the Constitution says any man woman is entitled to go for it. And that's why I'm going for it. That's it,
What are the issues then that are inspiring you to run? Like, what are the issues on the ground that you think you could make a difference?
There's multiple issues. You could go into the mall, and if you go into the mall, sure, you'll be talking for months, and you're not going to sort them. And any government, most of the government have the manifesto and they've 30 things on it. It's not possible to do it. It's just bluffing and porky pies looking for votes. I'm running. If people want to vote for me, vote for me. If they don't, no hard feelings. If I don't get voted, I'll probably have a better life. But I am going for it, and I put myself forward, and I'm giving a commitment.
Is there issues, though, in the North Inner City that you think you can fix, I suppose?
I can try fix them. And I can, if I get into Leinster House, I won't be taking bullshit. I'll rock the house. They won't be all nods and winks. Get this party in and that party in. They've been in for years. They haven't done their job. I will try change. I'll have to get in the door. I'll have to walk the ground. It's like getting a brand new job. You can't go in and run off with everything. It's going to take time. There's the homeless problem, and particularly in the Dublin 1 area. East Wall, Gardner Street, all the B&Bs in Gardner Street full of homeless people. And there's over 4,000 kids homeless. I didn't realise there was that. This is not India. We're not living in Calcutta. This is Dublin City. One of the capital cities, one of the biggest cities in Europe. Financially, we have the financial centre. They're accusing me of money laundering. We have Mary Magdallen's laundry on Shamrock Street, which was laundered and closed for years, and on the financial centre is laundering billions of pounds every year from all over the world, from Russia to Europe, all going through the big laundry centre down there in the financial centre, not too far from your own office. The homeless should be housed. Now, we might say, we're trying to home, where will we house them? There's thousands of empty houses around Ireland. I think there's about 70,000 empty houses around Ireland, particularly in Dublin. If somebody moves out of a house in Dublin, a council house, they bar it up, they pull the windows over. Now, if you're living in a tent or a B&B or a hotel, people think, oh, it's great to live in a hotel. A hotel is great for 1 week. You're living in a hotel for 2 or 3 weeks, you soon realise you don't want to be in that. They could put these people, they could cut the red tape, what you have. Somebody has decided that if you have a council house and you live in there, and they have certain standards, and then you'll have people who want to keep up with the Joneses, and they want to get the weather glaze in, and they want to get the mahogany door and the wooden floors and all that. When you move out of that, the corporation take them back, or the council, they pull everything out of them. because they have to put fireproof, they have to put this, they have to put that. We're in a housing crisis, an emergency. Like COVID-19, 2021, we had an emergency, and they brought in emergency legislation, and they locked us all up in our own homes. They told us where we could go and where we couldn't go. It was an emergency, and we all had to agree with it. We have a housing emergency situation. They'll want to bring in emergency legislation. And that legislation is simple. Cut the red tape. If somebody is moving out of a house, put a homeless family into it. Even if there's no power in or electricity. I'd rather be in a house with no power and electricity. Give me £1,000 and I'll buy paint, and I'll paint the bloody place myself. It might take me 3 or 4 years to get it up and running. But government don't want to do that. I don't know what are at.
Well, there's probably some vested interest, is there? In
There's what?
Vested interest. There's people who have an interest in the
Yeah,
system.
I'm sure there's certain people getting good money out of it and all that, you know.
There's a huge amount of regulations there around housing and fire restrictions and all those things you talked about. And you would wonder, have we overdone some of that, even though obviously for health and safety reasons they're there? Are the people that have asked you to stand talking about the cost of living?
Oh, the cost of living has gone through the roof for everybody. But I don't know how they're going to get around that, because it's a nanny state, and I think we're going to be too posh for ourselves even, you know.
What do you think of the inner city now? Like we're working here, we'll go out. Compare with what we started this whole conversation about the 50s. Like, it is shocking, isn't it, sometimes, when you see the homelessness, all of the
addiction problems on the streets around here, and I mean, Talbot Street itself, we've done more podcasts about Talbot Street, that this is in the heart of the community, than we have any other part of Dublin City. There's been so many incidents. It's constantly in the headlines for the wrong reasons.
Well, I mean, it's a policing issue as well.
It is.
Like, I mean, people would probably say, how dare him talk about policing issues? Oh, there is massive policing problems. Like, maybe it's the police commissioner who isn't very popular with all his members. They don't even like him. His popularity is not great, but he's doing his job like everyone else, and he was picked to do that job. But his own members are not too pleased with him. I mean, there's no Gardaí walking up Talbot Street. I remember as a kid, there'd be 2 guards standing at the GPO, and they were standing there as they were holding that building up. You would always bump into a guard on the street, and it makes the older people feel safe and stuff like that. They're not safe anymore. They don't feel safe. They don't feel they can walk around the streets. You know, what's the problem? How come? Well, I'll give you one explanation. There were 7 guards in my house in Lanzarote. They could have been on Talbot Street walking up and down, but they weren't. They were on junkers having a great time.
And what about the other candidates? Have you spoken to them? Do you think you'd be able to?
The who?
The other candidates in the constituency, like.
Yes. I've actually spoke to 3 different candidates that are running. There's actually one good lad there over in Crumlin. He's running over there as an independent. Sutcliffe, a boxer, very good man over there with the community, has helped everyone over there. The best of luck, Phil, if you're listening. And then over this side in the constituency there, I'm going to be running in, there's Stenson. I was talking to some of his people, and me and him will be in kind of competition. We'll be kind of running for the same vote, and stuff like that. And we had a bit of laugh about it, and the best of luck to him. And then there's Gannon. I was talking to some Gannon's people.
Jerry, practically, how are you going to manage this? Are you going to be going out and about the streets doing some door-to-door stuff? You're doing it. You're going to do a lot of it on social media.
Yeah, a lot of it's going to be done on social media. A lot of it's word of mouth. The different neighbourhoods, and we'd have Cabra, we'd have down in Smithfield, the market, and East Ward, Sheriff Street, and all around up the North Circular Road. We have people in most of them places who will be looking after them areas, and we'll do a little bit of knocking on doors. But giving out papers that they do,
The leaflets.
giving out leaflets, putting leaflets in the doors. Anyone I talk to who get leaflets in the doors goes into the green bin.
Yeah.
They don't even read the leaflets. You don't have to go up to a door with a leaflet. The people don't want the leaflets. Go up and just tell them what you're going to try to do. The posters are up on the poles, they're all being paid for by the government. They're littered in the streets. That's what they're doing.
And do you think you can win?
Of course, I think I can win. Yeah, definitely.
A lot's been said, Jerry, about obviously you're running in Mary Lou's constituency. Has this got anything to do with Sinn Féin, Jonathan Dowdall, Mary Lou?
No, nothing whatsoever. No. I haven't spoke to Mary Lou. I haven't met Mary Lou on my travels. I've just spoke to three. Two of them are in the constituency. I haven't spoke to the rest. And no, I've nothing in common with Mary Lou, and I hope she's nothing in common with me. And she's running a show. I'm running my show, and best of luck. See who comes out at the end.
Would you, like, if you both get elected, let's say yourself and Mary Lou, would you be able to work with her in your constituency?
If I get elected, I'll be doing the best interest for my constituency and the country. And if I have to work with Mary Lou, or I have to work with Micheál Martin, or I have to work with anyone, it's in the interest of the state and the interest of the country. You cannot be saying, I won't work with this or I won't work with that. Like, we do have that going on. So some parties are saying they will not work with this party. That's not in the interest of the country. In the interest of the country is everyone works with everyone, whether you like them or not, or whether they're black or white or whatever. You work with everybody in the interest of the country.
So we've had a huge amount of commentary on some of the podcasts we've done already about you. This is well before you even came on. And some of the comments, I do think that there's a certain Dublin wit that is going to come out. There's that sense of humour in Dublin that sometimes is unmatched. I have one comment here from somebody asking, do you have the balls to mix with the real gangsters and the Dáil?
Yes, I've heard that type of stuff, you know. In fairness now, like, everybody likes to say this about that in the Dáil and that in the Dáil, and well, then people run themselves who are saying that, but we'll see how it goes, you know. Maybe I'll be learning a thing or two about criminality in the Dáil. I don't know. I wouldn't rule anything out at this stage.
Okay. And there's just hundreds of comments. I have to say, most of them certainly on our own social media are wishing you luck. People saying, go on the monk, and, you know, that you have their vote. So certainly if you could take a straw poll of that, it looks very positive for you going forward. The election posters, if you do them, we reckon are going to be collector's items.
They could be worth a few quid.
You'll certainly have to keep one for us. So, well, Ali, anything further to add there from your end? You wanted to talk about policies. You wanted to dig down into the...
Yeah, I mean, you said homelessness, Jerry, is a major issue for you, and then that's obviously something that's very important to you. I'm just like, is there other things that part of your platform of what you want to see changed?
You have the homeless. That's one end of it. That's the rough end of it. So everyone's entitled to a house. And it probably should be enshrined in the Constitution that everyone's entitled to a house. There's people living on their mother's flowers and their late 30s plus. You need 120 grand a year wages before the bank will even look at you for a mortgage. That has to change. The government should probably say, right, we'll sponsor you 60 grand of that, and you owe us that, and we'll owe part of your house. You know, stuff like that. So you have the homeless going into housing. So now you have the housing problem trying to get fixed. And that does away with stuff that, from the homeless point of view, that's going to walk into the Department of Justice by the homeless getting into trouble with the law and all that. And it's a knock-on effect, you know?
Yeah. I mean, immigration is a big issue at the moment. Like, do you have a stance on that?
Yeah, well, immigration, like, I mean, people will go on about different... This country needs immigration. It always has. I remember as a kid, immigration up in Summerhill, the fish and chip shops. There was a guy there in Ballybock, Nico, his chipper. I've been in Nico's chipper for 40 years. Nico's giving free chips to people who are hungry. He's immigration. He's more Irish now than he is Italian. And you'll go into McDonald's, all emigrants behind the counter. You go into Primark, you go into Lidl's, any of the shops. They're all emigrants behind the counter. Now, I'd welcome immigration coming into Ireland, but bring your toolbox with you and bring your skills. Don't come into Ireland and expect to sponge off the dole. And if you're coming into Ireland from France or from Germany and you're after coming from Africa into them countries, well, go back to them countries and live there.
As in, stay in the first country you land in.
Yeah, stay as the rules say. You know.
That's real, yeah.
No, I mean, we have the poor people then from that country who's at war, Kiev, what's the name of that country? Ukraine. This is, you know, we can make an allowance for Ukraine. I mean, they're in a bad way, you know. But there's certain amount of immigration coming in and they're not being vetted. People have to be vetted coming in and proper. Mm-hmm. You know, we do need it, but not the lot that we're getting. And they're all put into the Dublin 1, the Dublin 3, the Dublin 7 constituency. Throw them all in there. Don't put any of them into the D4 or the D6 area. Put them into the number 1. Fill her up there, you know. It's too much of that. That's where we have TDs in the area, but we haven't got representation, you know.
If you had to pick, so there's 4 sitting TDs in your area. If you had to pick someone's seat to take, who would you take? If it was up to you? It'd
be Ian, mine at Mo. I wouldn't take anyone's seat. And there is no seats in the area. All the government seats are dissolved. It's a playing field. I can't take Mary's seat because she don't have a seat. None of them have seats. It's a playing field. And whoever gets them, and we all can speculate that such a body's seat is safe. That's not their seat when the government gets dissolved. It's just a figure of speech and a habit that we have. I'll take any of the seats. I'm not fussy. What's a safety belt on them?
And sorry, Nicola asked you, we were talking earlier about your moniker, the Monk. Can you tell us how you got that?
I got it about 94 or 95, in around that area. The guards had me under surveillance. And there was this reporter by the name of Harry McGee. A nice lad, and he was, I think he ended up being a political correspondent. He worked with Vincent Brown and all that type of gang over the years, you know. And he came down and he was looking for me and he bumped into these 2 undercover cops. And he asked them, I want to see Jerry Hutch. Where do you think I would see him? He said, well, he lives there. He said, well, where does he socialise? Where does he drink? Where does he hang out? He says he doesn't drink, he doesn't socialise, he doesn't really hang out. He went down to the video shop and brought his dog on a walk and he came back with 4 videos. And he hasn't come out the door in 2 days. And Harry said to him, this fella must live like a monk. And that's where it came from. And, you know.
And was that true?
Yeah, I believe so.
Living like a monk?
No, I wouldn't say I was living like a monk. But
were you out the back, over the back wall?
Sure, you know yourself.
So what do you like doing in your free time when you're not thinking about politics and doing whatever else it is?
I love doing mountain walking and getting out into the middle of nowhere and where there's not a person about. Beautiful. And it's free. You just need a good pair of boots and them sticks, and up the mountains you go. The Galtee Mountain Boy.
Listening to Crime World as you walk?
Yeah, I'd listen to it, yeah.
Yeah, you're a fan?
Oh, yes, I'm definitely a fan, yeah.
Yes, excellent.
I think, I probably wouldn't be on this if I wasn't a fan.
And you're a family man? You like spending time with your family?
Yeah, I love spending family time with the family and the kids and the grandkids, and, good.
Sitting around having a big meal and, chatting, and you love the North Inner City still. You might have moved out a long time, but you never lost it has your heart.
No, I moved out 30 years ago. My family moved out. I'm in there every day, all my life. I've opened the boxing club down there 25 years ago or so. I was actually down there today and dossing in around. I drop in anytime around, keep in touch, and my heart's in the city, and that's the way it is. I can't get it out, and it always will be. I'm from here, people have, you're out in Clontarf, you're this, you're that. I might be living out there, but my heart is out here. I'm a blowy in out there.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
What about your own personal safety? Like you spoke about Lanzarote and that. Do you feel safe now going around the city?
Yeah, well, I'd have to take precautions, obviously, because when I got the GIM off the guards several years back, I asked them, do you ever come back and tell people that these are no longer required? And they said they do. And stuff like that, but I haven't heard anything else from them, and that was probably 7-8 years ago I got it.
Yeah.
And I still take my precautions, and you get immune to it and you get used to it, but at the same time you could do without it.
You could.
And have things changed you?
Yes, of course. I would have changed over the years. I would have mellowed out over the years. I probably have a bottle of wine more often, and it chilled me out, and time just goes by, and it's nice, rather than be fuming or this or that, or anger, or I don't hold any of that type of stuff. I don't go to bed at night. I go to bed at night with a clear head. I wouldn't be whole anger or not happy with what he said, or if someone says something, order it out straight away. Get rid of it. Mm-hmm. You're not bringing that home at me.
Yeah.
And if you want to have it on your conscience, it's your problem, it's not mine.
And would that follow through with Jonathan Dowdall? Would you, for example, feel that as well about somebody like that?
Jonathan Dowdall is a compulsive liar, a Walter Mitty, and he's his own worst enemy. Carmen will come to him in its own way. I won't be looking for Jonathan Dowdall in any shape or form. I've better things going on in my life. I've spoke to lots of Jonathan's family, cousins, relations who are in the constituency and will be voting for me as well. Lovely people. Some of them have been embarrassed of what happened. It's terrible on them because of what he done. Tried to destroy me for his own gain. And it didn't work for him. And I've went out of my way to speak to some of his uncles and cousins, and they're friends of mine. I know them. I grew up with them. We'd have a pint in the local pub. Lovely people. And yeah, everything's all right there,
Well, I think we'd all say thank you very much for coming on. And I hope that people listening and watching this get a sense of what you're about, what you've been through, and what you hope to do going forward. So we'll wish you the best of luck on the campaign trail.
Thanks very much. And anyone out there, Hutch #1.